Hey there and welcome if you are new. My name is Brittany. I am a homeschool mom to 4 kids, and today we are talking about homeschooling with ADHD. So I want to start this video out saying that this is a 2-part series. This is part 2 in a 2-part series. So I'm going to have the first video linked in the cards up. I can never remember which direction it is, but I'll have it linked up here and in the description box. So if you are just seeing this video and you haven't watched that video, please go back and watch that one because it's going to make this one make a whole lot more sense. If you have already seen that one, then let's go ahead and jump into all of the techniques that I use for my kids with ADHD. Okay, let's move into some techniques. Here are some techniques that I implement in our homeschool that have helped us. So we always start our hard subject first thing in the morning before breakfast. So for everybody, that's typically math. Math happens we get up, I give them 15 minutes of wake up time where they can kind of just get their body moving, get some blood flowing. And then as soon as that 15-minute timer goes off, everybody gets dressed and makes their bed. And then we come in and everybody does math while I make breakfast. After everybody's finished with math and breakfast is ready, we'll sit down and do our morning devotional time together over breakfast. But I find if we can go ahead and just get math out of the way first thing in the morning, everybody's a little bit better. Now, if math is something that your child really, really likes and it's not something that they're going to fight you on, it might be good for you to put something else in that time slot. Whatever it is that they're most likely to fight you on, I find is better to put first thing in the morning to get it out of the way. And how I incentivize this a little bit is I allow a special kind of treat. So for like my kids, I give them some, like, I call it kid coffee. It's literally just warm milk with honey first thing in the morning. My oldest, who has ADHD, ever since he was about 12, I started giving him coffee because it helps with his ADHD because of the stimulant. And so he has some coffee while he does his math. After breakfast, I typically let everybody go outside. I encourage them to go outside and either get on the trampoline or swing. Now, obviously not my oldest because he's 16, but whenever he was younger, that is what we did. Go get on the trampoline, go get on the swing. And the reason why you want to use something along those lines is because of I can never pronounce this word. I'm going to put it right here. This specific sensory input is really needed for kids with ADHD. And so allowing them to go outside, and it's really easy to do using a trampoline or using a swing. Just 5-10 minutes of doing those swinging motion or the jumping motion gives them that sensory input, and it kind of loads them up, like preloads them for the day. If you don't have a trampoline, you don't have a swing set, you could also just like put on a workout. YouTube has a lot of kids workouts that you could have them do, and let them do a 10-15 minute workout first thing in the morning. The important part is moving the body. Get the body moving. Get some sensory input in so you are filling up that need. You're meeting that need before you start school and start asking things of them. Okay, so now moving into school time. Be very strategic on how you plan your school day. Pair a heavy subject with a light subject. So how the brain functions. So if you're going to do, for example, you're writing. You do writing and then maybe you do a read aloud. Or you do, if science is really fun for them, maybe you'll do spelling and then science. So you're going to pair a non-enjoyable with an enjoyable, or a hard with an easy, so that way it kind of gives the brain a break, and you want to give the hands a break too. So just trying to be very strategic in how you plan those things and allow appropriate movement where possible. It's kind of what I mentioned with doing the balance board. So if you're having to practice memory work or drill spelling words or something like that, let them stand on a balance board while they're doing it. Or let them play with a fidget while they're answering questions. Or if there's a lot of reading, let them sit and build magnet tiles. That's another thing that we love to do, is I love to let them break out the magnet tiles or the Legos or something like that, and let them do that while they're doing all of our reading that has to get done. Break times. Be strategic with breaks and opt for short, frequent breaks rather than long, extended breaks, like long school time with a long break. And how you are strategic in your break time is you're going to give them things to do specifically for that time, because kids with ADHD typically have a hard time with transitions. So if you let them go outside, if you let them go run off, you're going to have a hard time pulling them back. So we're going to be strategic with our break time. I do a lot of brain breaks, which you can go on YouTube. That gets them up and moving. It's something that's fun and exciting, and it gives them a little bit of a change. And if I need it to be more quiet, or I have other kids that are not quite done, I'll give them an extra break, and I pull out their school game basket. So I have some school games that I allow them to play. One of them is missing. It's actually one of mine that I had a long time ago. You probably can't find it anymore. It's like a whack-a-mole game. And it's all in one little thing. But things like that, or if you can find an old like Frogger game, that would be really cool to have in here too. I might go look for one of those. But what we have in here is I've got this math slam game. This helps them practice their math facts, but it'll have a number, like a problem pop up here, and then they have to press the button for what the answer is, because the answer will show up in these little boxes. So that one's fun. We also have this flip it game where they have to like match it. So that's kind of a logic game. And then we have like the pop it game. I'm gonna have to turn this one. So it comes up and it gives you like, it tells you what to push, and so you push that and then you readjust it back, kind of thing. So that's fun. Make sure if you get one of these, this one was gifted to us. It does not have a volume button. Find one that has a volume button so that way they can play it with the other kids around. And then obviously, a Rubik's Cube is a really good one to do. You could also do, they have like the multiplication lacing games and stuff like that. That would be really good for this kind of a basket. But this kind of a basket is really good to have for the times that they need a break, that you want something to do, but you don't want them to run off. Okay, I'm almost done. So the next one is weave in fun. Weave in fun to your school. If you can find a video that's funny, that's enjoyable, to go with whatever lesson you have, do that. Don't be stuffy to where it has to look a certain way. I have this idea with being a classical homeschooler that everything has to be a certain way, and everything has to be beautiful, and everything has to be, like everything has to be look a certain way. And it really doesn't. We're a classical homeschool, and we do Latin, and we do recitation. We do all of the classical things. We read a bunch of literature. And yet I still, in our history lesson, will pull up YouTube videos because they're fun and they're funny. Or we'll look up science videos. Like, you don't have to, just because you want to give them a challenging education, it doesn't have to be boring. Like, give them some fun too. Also, let them kind of have some freedom in how they're doing school. It doesn't have to necessarily be at the table. You can let them lay on their stomach with a clipboard on a living room floor. I have a lap pad, and inevitably one of my kids will end up on the couch with the lap pad and doing school on the couch. Allowing them to have the movement and ability to shift into a new position can really make a difference with kids with ADHD. And my very last, not really technique, but kind of a tip, is just to be patient. It's so different than schooling a regular child, and it is possible, but it takes a little bit more work. It takes a little bit more practice. So be patient. Be patient with your kid. Be patient with yourself. And try different things. Even if you tried it 6 months ago, try it again if something isn't working again, because kids change and you change, and what worked yesterday may not work today. And it's okay to switch things up because it's not working. I don't mean like switching up curriculum, but I mean it's okay to switch up how you're doing school in order to meet them where they're at mentally. So those are all the tips and techniques that I have for homeschooling kids with ADHD. If you have any questions, please leave it in the comments. If you are new to the channel, I hope you'll consider sticking around and subscribing. I love to talk all things homeschool and homemaking over here, and I would love to have you around. And with all that being said, I hope you have a fantastic week, and I will see you in the next one.